So this is my favorite single-player game of all time, Skyrim, and my favorite character, who's a stealth archer, dagger assassin, with using a little bit of magic now. Actually, I've been using a little bit of magic for a long time on the character, but I'm starting to change it up a bit. I'm just returning to the game after a pretty long break due to technical reasons. And this will mostly be videos I feel like making just for the fun of it. Mostly in the open world and then some dungeons that I come across. I've done a lot in the game in the past, so I'm really kind of revisiting this. There's a lot I don't remember that I've done in the game, a whole lot, because there's a whole lot to do in the game. So the game is not heavily modded for gameplay. I have lots of mods for housing. I got houses all over the world, so it's just kind of amusing and entertaining for me to roam the open world and go from house to house and see what happens. I do have a mod that adds extra encounters into the game so that the open world is a little more active, which in a way is my favorite part of the game. It actually feels quite alive for a single-player game. I do have one archery mod, so that alters gameplay a bit, and that mod was an attempt to correct an archery bug. It wasn't entirely successful. It's just a very difficult bug to fix, I think. Even initialization file changes don't seem to help. The bug is that at certain long-distance ranges, not all, sometimes they are not the maximum range you could hit something at, your arrows will pass right through the enemy. Very irritating. You can see this once you get, if you get enough skill points, perk points as they call them in this game, that you place into the archery tree, you eventually will be able to zoom in if you want to, when you knock your arrow and draw it. And you will actually see an arrow pass through an enemy, and it becomes extremely apparent when the enemy is against a wall, a tree, a snowbank. You will see the enemy you'll see the enemy stand there, the arrow goes through them, and you'll see the arrow hit the snowbank, the wall, the tree, especially like when they're by snow, you'll see all the snow shoot up. And it's not a bad shot, it's simply a bug with the game. But it's very difficult to predict because I have taken shots and they kept doing that, and I actually moved further away and the shot would hit consistently. But it's very difficult to consistently predict what that range is, since in this game it's not a tab targeting type of game, it's an aiming game. You don't have a range indicator at all, so you can't figure out that, okay, it's 60 yards or 100 yards or 200 yards or whatever it is. This is when the bug manifests itself. So I do keep this mod in the game. It's a gameplay altering mod to some extent. Aside from that, it's just mods. 99% housing. This one archery mod. I did have a couple of mods that tried to fix broken quests, and that's it. The change I might make with this character. I used to, when I started this character, I used the dagger, two daggers, main and offhand, and archery. Then I switched to using an invisibility spell in my offhand. And that's pretty cool. I mean, invisibility is cool. Now, sneak, which is the real stealth in this game, it's been maxed out for a long time. This character is pretty good and probably makes the invisibility pretty much redundant. Now, some people think that the invisibility is tremendously strong. I'm just not so sure when it comes to having a character with high sneak. And the one reason I'm thinking about going to magic, and I have been playing with a little bit of magic in my offhand and my left hand, is that when you sneak up behind an enemy, they can turn around at the last second. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's irritating to me when it happens. And they detect you and they wig out, and your sneak attack is gone. And that's the key to this kind of character. He's extremely fragile. You really can't go face-to-face with enemies very well. But he has very, very, very high damage if you can get sneak attacks, which you usually can. So it's annoying to be following an enemy, and then there's that one time, which will happen on occasion, not often, as I said, where the enemy turns around and freaks out, and now all of your damage is gone because you're not getting sneak attacks. So the invisibility spell does nothing there, actually. Once you're detected, you're detected. Now there's different levels of detection. You can have enemies very frequently running around. They know you're there someplace, they can't find you. But when you're in melee range like that, when you come right up with daggers and someone turns around, they're just going to wail on you. So what I may end up doing is using a paralysis spell, which seems very fitting for a stealthy assassin type character. I've been using some other magic too that's pretty effective. It just doesn't seem to fit the theme enough for me. It doesn't really matter. You can do anything in this game. That's part of the beauty of this game, is that you are not stuck to traditional sort of MMO or role-playing roles. You don't have to simply be the heavy armored warrior with a battle axe or a warhammer or a great sword. You don't have to just be a mage in robes that's using magic. You can pretty much mix up things any way you want, depending upon where you put these perk points, your skill points in the skill trees. So I do have some magic abilities. I did the College of Winterhold quests. So that's kind of what this is going to be. It's going to be a lot of me just wandering the world and finding things going on. And I'm probably going to spend some time experimenting with different spells in my offhand. And this is my favorite armor. And almost in any game, really, to tell you the truth. I just love this Nightingale armor. It is just so cool. And this is a very fun play style for me. This is not the kind of character for someone who wants real fast-paced gameplay. Because you don't go into a room of enemies and just start slashing away at them and beating them down. You've got to be real patient. You've got to hit and run. You get detected. You've got to hide, run, wait till you're not detected. The activity all comes in bursts. It'll be a lot of slow creeping about and waiting, looking for your moment, and then boom, they're down in a hit. It's not for everyone. I have come to find it to be really, really fun. I just really got addicted to that kind of play style, and the archery is really neat. It's kind of like a sniper, so it's kind of like combining a sniper who's very sneaky with an assassin that uses daggers. And that's what this will be. So I'll end this here. Just thought this would be a little introduction to my videos, which I just consider to be purely for entertainment. And I will go now and start exploring the world and seeing what I can do with my recent change using some magic abilities.